Hey everybody, NecroVMX here again, and another look at my emulation folder. People liked the last video, and they said, hey, do more like this, that was fun. So I thought I might do a video that I show what emulators and tools and shit I use. So I thought that might be cool. This is the root of my emulation folder, and I don't have a whole lot. Actually, a lot of my videos are here, and I keep the videos here until there's about 4 gigs worth, and then I put it on a DVD, and I filled up 2 DVDs with my videos so far. I also have a problem here called Lunar IPS, and another version called IPS XP, and another version that's just called IPS. All those are used to apply patches to files, and it can be used for any kind of file, but usually used by ROM hackers to apply a patch to ROM to make a hack. Let me just go through this. Here, I'll start at the top. Here's the 32X folder, and I have 2 emulators in here. I have Gens and I have Gens Plus. I don't know why Gens is in there because Gens doesn't play 32X games, but I probably copied everything from my Genesis folder. Gens Plus is an upgraded version of Gens, and I don't really use it because I don't like it that much, but I use it to do 32X games because it can play them pretty easily. In the Atari 2600, I use PCAE Win. You know, it's PCAE Windows, and that's a really good emulator. It was a bit of a bitch to set it up in terms of for the keyboard, although it was easy to set it up for my controller, so go figure. For the Atari 5200, I use this emulator. It's called Atari 800 Win. I'm rather happy with it. Sometimes I forget how to use it, and I go on a rampage cursing and shit, but it's not that bad. For the Atari 2600, I use Pro System, which is a really simple emulator. This is the arcade folder. I really don't have... Whoa, that's weird. I really don't have all that much in here because I don't really keep... You know, I got a couple of games here. Not a whole lot. I just... You know, when I want to play something, you know what I mean? I have 2 emulators for arcade. This is FBA, which is Final Burn. And it's cool, yeah, I don't really use it. Final Burn Alpha. And then there's MAME 32, which is the emulator that I basically use. And then here's the regular version of MAME, which is a command prompt version. So, everybody uses MAME. Now for Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy Color, I use the same emulator for all 3. Is Visual Boy Advance re-recording. And I also have Visual Boy is a Game Boy emulator, and here's Visual Boy Advance, which is a Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color emulator. And this is Visual Boy Advance CE, which is like a special edition. I actually don't use any of those. I use VBA re-recording, because it's really good for re-recording videos and shit. And this is Rascal Boy, which is another emulator. I don't use it, but I have it there just in case I need it. And this is No Cache Game Boy Advance, which I don't really use it except for Nintendo DS stuff, which I don't do all that often because I'd rather just play it on my actual DS. For the Genesis, I already mentioned that I use Gens 9.5C. Actually, I don't use Gens Plus, but it's there. For the Game Gear, I have 2 emulators. I have Dega, and I have Gens Plus. Then I also have another emulator. Oh, no, those are the 2. And it's interesting. Dega is made to play Game Gear games, but I usually use Gens Plus because for some reason when I use Dega, I can't record. I can't even use Hypercam. It just comes out as black. So Dega is a little easier to use, though. So if I just want to play a Game Gear game, I use Dega. But if I want to record it, I got to use Gens Plus. It's kind of weird. For the Atari Jaguar, I have 2 emulators. I have this one, PT, which is Project Tempest, which is the one I've been using. And then I have this one, VJ. This is Virtual Jaguar. I can't figure this one out. I'll show you what happens. Here's the emulator, and I hit load, and I pick a game, and I hit load, and then it just does nothing. And I've looked at the settings, I've looked at I can't figure out what the fuck to do with that emulator. So then I have a hard time shutting it off. I mean, I just try clicking here and nothing happens, so I have to hit quit here or it won't ever go away. Kind of weird. For the Lynx, there's really only one choice for the Lynx. It's called Handy. I mean, there's other Lynx emulators, but this is the only decent one. So that's interesting. And keep in mind, if you're going to use Lynx emulators, you need this lynxboot.img. It's actually the BIOS for the Lynx. The emulator comes with one, but it's a fake file and you can't use it. You need a real one. Don't ask me how to get BIOSes or ROMs. For the MSX, I use Blue MSX. I've only ever done one video, and I only think I have the one game. Yeah, Vampire Killer. So I don't know. I may do like a full collection of MSX stuff in the future, but for now, no. For Nintendo 64, there's really only one choice if you want to be able to record stuff and play it really well. I mean, there's a couple of different N64 emulators, but really the best is Movement 64, and I have a re-recording version. If you're looking for re-recording versions, go to places that make like speedruns and shit, like tool-assisted speedruns, like tasvideos.org is a pretty good site. I mean, well, they're kind of jerks there sometimes, but for the most part, you know, they're a pretty good community, and they do know a lot about emulation. For the DS, I got No Cache, Game Boy Advance, and I also have this program called MyZoom. This is interesting. I'll see if I can show you. If I here's the emulator. Let's say if I was to pick, say, Portrait of Ruin, and just to show you, look how tiny the emulator screen is. This is the whole thing. So then I hit MyZoom, and it brings up this other window that's much bigger, as you can see. So that's pretty cool. So I could actually see what the hell I'm doing. For the NES, there's a lot of NES emulators, but hold on, let me fix this. FCE Ultra is the absolute best end-all NES emulator. If you're using something else for NES emulation, please switch to FCE Ultra. There's a lot of good emulators out there like Nestin and shit. If you're still using Nesticle, dude, that was the best back in 1997. Gotta upgrade. Get FCE Ultra. It's a great emulator. There's a couple of things in here that have become of interest one day. For PlayStation 1, I use EPSXE. And as you see, I don't keep the games on my computer. I have an ISO folder, but I burn them to CDs. EPSXE is great, though. I really like that emulator. It's very fast. For PlayStation 2, I do have a PlayStation 2 emulator. I don't really use it because there's no point in playing the PlayStation 2 games on my computer because they run like shit. The name of the emulator is PCSX2. And you need BIOSes. Don't ask me where to get them, but you need them. You can't run it without them. For the Saturn, which I've only done one video, I have, I don't even know how to say this, but it's Yabaus, YABAUSE. That's the name of the emulator. It seems to run okay. For the Master System, I have Dega, and that's what I use to play them. I also have Fusion, which I don't use, and Gens Plus, which is what I use to actually record the videos. But if I want to just play a Master System game, I use Dega. Because I do just play these games. For Super NES, I have two emulators sitting in here. One is SNES 9X, which is the emulator that I use both to play the games and to record the videos. And here's ZSNES. The W's for Windows. I just have that as a backup. It used to be the best emulator, but SNES 9X is far, far surpassed it. For Virtual Boy, there's a bunch of different choices. The only one that I found that works well for me is Red Dragon. Although, as you saw in my Virtual Boy feature, it doesn't emulate everything. But the Virtual Boy is a weird one. And for the X68000, I have Win X68K High Speed. I mean, it's a hack of a normal emulator to run at a higher speed, and I've played games on it. I think I only have the one game, actually. Yeah. But, it works really well. So there's just like a little mini tour. I'm going to do another one of these videos in my folder here today, so just keep an eye out for that. I hope you guys enjoy this shit. It seems you guys do. But there you have it.